And now you should really pay attention. Maybe you heard about dodging and burning. It's simply painting with light or painting with darks. So you have these two options. You see, the skin is not the flat texture, so even if you clean this up, it doesn't look perfect. With the help comes dodging and burning. Let me do something to explain you better. I'm going to create black and white layer. So I'm just going to choose hue saturation and I'm going to desaturate that. And I'm going to change blending mode to color, so it will preserve better the colors and will show just luminosity values. And I'm going to increase the contrast to make it even seen better. Zoom in this image. And right now you can see all of the details. It's easy to distinguish freckles, though there's many other things that doesn't suit this face, that's supposed to not exist. And there will be few things like this black area over here. Well, once again, this black area, for example, over here, you can see this black area over here, it should be a little bit more even out. These shadows over here, this massive shadow over here, and many others, like here, smaller things, it's really plenty of that. So all of this has to be even out, so we whether paint with light mostly or with darks. So let me turn this off right now, and let me turn off these black and white layers as well. What I do, the techniques I'm using for dodging and burning is curves. I'm using curves, you see. So I'm going to go back to this cleanup layer. I'm going to create one curve layer, which I'm going to call dodge. So I'm going to paint with light. And also the other layer, that will be burn. Okay, not burn of course, but burn. And that will be darkening layer. So for dodge, I'm going to bring this curve layer a little bit up, so it's brightening, just not much, just a little bit, and for burn, a little bit down. Okay, I don't want this effect to be applied now at all, so I'm just going to invert these layers. Command or Control and I, and here Command or Control and I, and I'm going to put this into the group, which I'm going to call DB, like dodge and burn. Let's start with dodge. What does it do? If we paint with white color on this black layer mask, because black is invisible, white is visible, we're going to brighten up the image. So as you can see, something like this happening. If we're going to burn it, we're just going to darken. So really forgive me these ugly paintings, maybe I'm just going to make a little bit nicer one. So this is dodging and this is burning. That's how it looks like. The one issue with dodging and burning, it should be alright for this face, but in many cases it will happen that for dodge, when we're going to brighten this up, the area will become more saturated. It's easy to resolve that because we can just go to hue saturation, just number 1, let's say, and I'm going to hit Control and clip this mask to the dodge. So I would take down some of the saturation, so you can see that will be a little bit more suitable because this was a little oversaturated. And this is absolutely desaturated one, so I would go with hue saturation number 2 and create clipping mask, and this dark has to be saturated, like around that. So if you will have these shifts appearing, just create hue saturation layers. There is one easier method, the way I like to do. Let me do this. Let me present this for you, I'm just going to do a lot of step backs before painting. So instead of doing this and clipping masks, what I'm going to do, I'm going to invert this once again into color white and do this one, and I'm going to put them into the groups. So the hue saturation, and that will be desaturate. I'm not doing anything yet. I'm putting these two into the group. I'm going to name this Dutch, and here I'm going to create layer mask. So now everything is in the group. I know there's a lot of information, it might be very confusing, but it's nothing new. This is just the Dutch layer, but not inverted, into the group, and this is other layer into the group, so we don't have to clip this desaturation layer into the Dutch layer, but we put them into the group and we inverted the layer in the group like this. So what would happen if I'm going to brighten this up, and if I'm going to think these areas are oversaturated, I'm just going to desaturate this. I believe now it's a little more clear, just a little bit. The shifts are very soft here. So that's how it would work. I'm going to now press Alter Option to see the mask, because I want this to be color black. Okay, we are back. And the same thing I'm going to do with burn. I'm going to create hue saturation. This will be the saturate, of course, because the burn tend to desaturate. And now to the group and burn. And now I'm going to create layer mask and invert this. So we are ready. That's how I prepare my layers for the retouching. Few more things. The things like, of course, we will not be painting with 100% flow, but more about 5% flow. You need to have control on this. So when you're going to paint in some area, as you can see, you actually have to spend some time to brighten this up, and it gives you like smooth effects. It allows you to keep control. Other thing is, of course, supporting layer. So darkening, so we can see everything better. I don't want to paint with the color layer. I'm painting with the black and white layer, and I will be doing like that. So that's our preparation. I'm going to remove this all. This is my Dutch and burn group. And for black and white, I'm going to use my action. I will give you this action. It's black and white supporting layer. So it's exactly the same. It's desaturation, this layer is darkening, and this is contrast, just all with curves. You can create this on your own. Create one layer, which is desaturation, and the other layer that curves, that will darken this a little, and another one that actually bring up some of the contrast. And you can, of course, manipulate them for the image, just to make sure that the values are perfect for the image. So now I can see the image is perfectly contrasted. I see all of the imperfections, and I will be ready to work. In the next lesson, we're going to do this work after preparation. I believe everything was clear. I understand that was a lot of information with preparing these layers. So if anyone got confused, drop me the message. I tried to be as clear as possible. So dodging, brightening up, burning, darkening the image, and we'll try to even this out in the next lesson.